Hey, what's up, you guys? The Dark Singer back with another video, and today we're going to take a look at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Superman Returns Superman. Before we get started, I'd like to ask you guys if you feel so inclined to please like and subscribe. It really does help my channel and is absolutely free. Take a look at the packaging over here. It's pretty much the exact same we've seen with all the other DC Multiverse McFarlane Toys boxes, except this one over here kind of takes a little spin with the Superman Returns theme. But anyway, it's the standard window box over here. You can see the background in there. It's a nice skyline with a base and a trading card. Those are built within the background over there, so if you like tear it out, it's going to end up ripping that background up. So that's why I'm just going to leave in the box over here. But you know, the standard trading cards and bases and what have you. But anyway, DC Multiverse Superman, you got 22 moving parts. McFarlane Toys at the side over here, you got a really nice image from Superman Returns over here. I love the marketing with this. It was so cool with using the elements of space and Earth. But anyway, you see Brandon Routh Superman flying up there, and the other side over here, you can see the window box continuing along. Superman, along with the QR code over here for DC Universe Infinite. DC Multiverse at the top over there. At the back, you got a big image of Brandon Routh Superman from Superman Returns. Superman Returns at the top of there. McFarlane Toys at this side. You got DC Universe Infinite once again over there with the QR code. At the top, you have the window box continuing along with the Superman Returns logo. Then at the bottom, you got a bunch of legalese along with the UPC code. All right, so Superman Returns. What do I think of this film? I think this was a pretty good film. This is kind of the era that I kind of grew up with for Superman, so it does hold a special place in my heart. But I do recognize after years that this film was meant to be a continuation from the original Christopher Reeve Superman films. But in this kind of era, they modernized kind of what the look would be like for those characters, and that modernization goes into adding a little extra detail in the suits. So you can see over here that with Brandon Routh's Superman, it is very similar to how the Christopher Reeve Superman looked, except there's a little bit more detail going on with it, and it's a little more muted to bring in that more like serious, like realistic kind of tone. So I think that this representation over here is pretty cool. I did really like Brandon Routh as Superman. Maybe not so much in Superman Returns, but when he came back in the CW series, he was really good. So I'm glad to have a representation of this character in my collection. But let's take a closer look into it with his accessories, and there's no accessories. So that's the one kind of flaw that I'm gonna point out right away, is that there's absolutely zero accessories with this figure. If you want to count the accessories being the trading card and the base, then so be it, but I don't really count that. That kind of comes in with every single figure from McFarlane as it is. Taking a closer look at the figure itself, I do think that they got Brandon Routh's likeness over here. I don't know, you guys can tell me what you think in the comments down below, but one thing that McFarlane is really good at doing is getting specific facial features that are enough to kind of, make you assume that it is whoever they're trying to represent. I think in this case, it's definitely the eyebrows and the eyes, but you guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. I do think they did a good job, though. And you also can see that he's got the curl here as well, too, which is really nice. And yeah, like it's enough. It's enough for me to recognize that it's Brandon Routh. You got the Superman logo over here, and this is specific to Superman Returns. So it is sculpted in. It's not printed on like others are. This is all sculpted in, which is really nice. And yeah, you can see the difference in the S logo there. Very cool. Love this a lot. You got the cloth cape over here. Unfortunately, no wire. So I'm thinking that they were probably planning on doing wire, but somehow it just didn't make it past production. Uh, I'm not really sure about that. But you can flip that over here. You can see the rest of the back. You got some copyright information hidden there. But anyway, the rest of the suit over here, pretty bland. It's just a plain blue skin tight suit, so not too much to look at. But the S logo over here looks really nice. You can see that this is all sculpted on as well too. So very nice. I like this a lot. And even the wrinkles in the trousers as well too. So yeah, looks pretty good there. The legs over here, not too much going on. Once again, skin tight suits, so they're not going to have a lot going on. But the boots here have a bit of a design going into it. So as you can see, there's a bit of that texture going on, which is very nice. And I'm glad that they took the extra step to sculpt all this out over here. But yeah, Very, very cool. And it even goes into the boots over here as well too. You can see the different waves and everything going on throughout. Very, very nice. And then you do have the bottom of the feet over here, which is sculpted as well too, with the S logos from the movie as well too. So that is accurate as well. And then two pegholes at the bottom of the feet. In terms of articulation over here, it's nothing out of the ordinary from what McFarlane is usually known for. Head can move up about that much, which is not too bad. It can move down like that. You got some side-to-side motion along with a bit of a pivot. You got some arm articulation over here, which goes into a ball joint slash butterfly joint. So it can go up about that much, go down, up, down, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, which move in about that far. You got some wrist articulation, which is a swivel and a hinge, and you can move that around as you like, which is pretty nice. And they do have a diaphragm joint in here, which moves around, so you can move him down. Along with this waist joint here, there's another ball joint, so you can move him down about that much. You can move him back about there, so that's not bad. And you can move it to the side. You can move it to this side. Pretty good. Over here, you got some leg articulation, which can kick forward about that much. Pretty nice. You can kick back and on an angle. You got some splits in here that goes about there. It's got that same dreaded joints in the center there. But yeah, you can get some pretty good splits in there, along with some knee joint action going on. You can make him go in that far. And then you got some foot articulation, which is down, up, pivot, and a toe hinge. As for comparison over here, I do have Brandon Routh's Superman next to all the other live action Supermans we've gotten so far from McFarlane Toys. So as you can see on the left over here, we have Christopher Reeve, and these two do share a lot of similar parts. Obviously, the the S logo and then the trousers are different, along with the boots as well too. But I think the legs and the arms are the exact same thing. Yeah, so if you have this figure over here, you pretty much know what to expect when it comes to this Brandon Routh Superman. I got Henry Cavill over here as well too, from the Batman v Superman 2-pack, and then you got David Corenswet's Superman over here as well too from the deluxe theatrical edition. Now these guys do scale pretty well together. I don't mind if they all stand around the same height, but I will say David Corenswet over here pretty short. I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, these are pretty good over here. One of the things I wanted to also mention was that since if you do have this Christopher Reeve Superman over here, he came with a lot of hands, and since these two do share the same parts, you can swap them out. So as you can see, I've gone ahead and swapped them out. And yeah, they do share a bit of a difference in skin tone over here, but looking at it from afar, it's not that noticeable. But obviously on camera, when you got lights pointing on the figure, it is going to be noticeable. So there is the option is there as well too, if you wanted some extra hand accessories for this figure. If you want to compare this figure to some figures that you have at home, we can see over here that he does stand just over 7 inches tall. All right, so final thoughts on this Brandon Routh Superman from Superman Returns. I like this. I think that it's absolutely fantastic that McFarlane has gone out and got a lot of the actors from Batman and Superman done, so that way we can have it in our own collections as a whole, like legacy kind of display. I absolutely love that, and I love that we now have Brandon Routh to add to that as well too. With that said, this is a pretty, lackluster figure over here, if I'm being completely honest, because there isn't, any accessories really involved with it. And in the same breath, yeah, there's not really a lot that you could include with the Superman, and we have the extra hands from the Christopher Reeve Superman, so it's not that big of a deal to me. But I think the bare minimum would have been a flight stand, and obviously, as to what I'm sure everyone's thinking is the wired cape. Like this would have been a very important figure to have the wired cape for, and yet it is lacking within it. So I think that that's the biggest, draw off of this figure is lack of the wired cape, but it doesn't take away the fact that it is a Brandon Routh Superman figure, and it's a pretty good figure at that. It uses a lot of the same sculpting and parts from the original Christopher Reeve Superman, which isn't bad because they're both very similar suits. The parts in here that they needed to switch and swap, they have done, that being with the emblem, the trousers, and the boots, and then obviously the head as well too. And yeah, and the articulation's pretty good on it. Uh, the proportions still remain the same, which are pretty good. So I'd say it's overall a pretty good figure over here, especially at that lower price point. I'm so glad that they didn't go ahead and make this a deluxe theatrical edition, collector's edition type release. I'm glad they went on with the single sort of standard release over here. So to give this figure as a rating, I would probably stick with a 6 or 7 out of 10. 6, 7. That's a stupid joke. Sorry. But yeah, I do think this is a pretty good release. I like the fact that there's the added new parts while also reusing the same parts just to get this figure out there and to be able to add it to our collections. If you are a fan of the Brandon Routh Superman, or if you're just looking to add all the different Superman actors to your collection like I am, this is totally well worth it, and I would highly suggest picking it up. Otherwise, like if you're a regular Superman fan and you want to get this figure, you could also get it as well too. But it's not, it's not one that you'll need. This, like obviously, Superman Returns wasn't the greatest movie of all time, but it's great to have some kind of representation of that film. I know what you guys think in the comments down below. Did you guys like Superman Returns? Did you like Brandon Routh's portrayal as Superman? And as always, as every YouTuber begs you to do, please like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.